bring this pony back now to a walk. Steady. Yeah, I'll just say steady. And it comes straight back. A little gentle touch. All he's got is a piece of rubber. And then I shall say to him, walk, stand. And I shall say to him, walk, walk. I'll do it again. Walk. Then trot. Well, I'll do a jig jog actually. Jig, 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 jig. Real slow trot. Trot. Here to change. Trot on. So he's got 3 forward gears. You stand here like that. I'll ask him to walk. Walk. Jig. Trot. Trot on. Trot on. Canter. Canter. And I'll stop him. Whoa. Stand still. Stand still, and you stand on the sixpence. Alright, how are we doing? The fell pony. He's 3-year-old. He's into training. He's a ride and drive. This one. So we're just getting him downtown and used to being down here. We're again got him in an open bridle. A lot of people have shown a great deal of interest in the riding that we do and the open bridle, you know. So we just, people are saying, oh, is it certain horses you can do it with certain breeds? Well, no, not at all. So we've done a lot of different ones in an open bridle, so you can just see how they go. You can't really, I'm not a great one to believe that you know, people say now Welsh cobs, or you know what they're like. Well, no, I don't really, because when I was at, you know, for my lifetime, I've always found Welsh cobs to be, you know, pretty calm, you know, pretty laid back, if you like. I think, and horses get a name sometimes, just it only takes a few people in authority to say, oh, something like that. That remark gets passed and it gets on, perhaps with no real foundation. I mean, obviously every horse is capable of being awkward or feisty or, you know, whatever, because they're all individuals. They can therefore behave differently, aren't they, obviously. But we've had some fell ponies that are, you know, not as easy going as perhaps another one. But normally what happens in that case, you know, there'll be hard work doing some particular thing with, it'll take you longer to get that achieved, and with something else it'll be very easy. You know, just, so I've never been a believer in that. So what we've done, I think we've done now a Shire horse, a cob, Andalusian, and this fell pony. We're just doing it to show you, you know, ponies, horses, Shire horse, whatever, just carry on the same way and do their job. So the big lorry coming up here, if I go like that, not bothered, I've got a slack rein on him, he's just trotting down here on his own. And that's confidence, isn't it? Obviously the horse is confident in what we've taught him. So, you know, he's going down there with a slack rein, and in any case only got a rubber bit in his mouth, just a soft piece of rubber, which I'm going to pull in this lay-by. Someone will keep the camera running, because someone the other day made a remark that that's never in a rubber bit. They swap it over and film it, you know, when and it's not the same thing. So what we'll do, we'll keep this camera running the whole time. You can see what type of, it's the main road into Andover. So, come on boy, come over, that's it. See those little black and yellow stripes on the end of the barrier? They always look at them because you don't see them, do you? Only on the end of a barrier. You don't really see them anywhere else. So I'm going to pull in this lay-by, and I'll get ready to go down, and it'll show you exactly. There's my baby. Come on, come down here a bit. I'll come down the end of it in case someone wants to pull in behind me. A lorry, a lot of lorries pulling in, waiting to go into the trading estate there. Walk, my son. Stand still. Look on. So you always get people when you do something and perhaps not in the conventional way. Trot back, trot. Perhaps not in the conventional way. That I don't really mind. I just think it's sad to have that attitude. We can all learn. Everybody can learn. And just because something's been done that way for years doesn't mean to say that is the only way. And I know I'm a bit passionate about what I do maybe, but what can't speak can't lie. All the films are there, and you see them in rubber bits, whatever I'm driving, stallions, mixed team, they'll all go, they'll all do, as long as they're trained to it. I'm not saying that everybody could buy a rubber bit and put it in your horse's mouth, and they've got to be trained to it. But it's not in the. It's in the fact of how you train them, what you ask them to do. You know, if you just need to just talk to them, you know, and communicate. I mean, seriously, communicate, but not communicate because you're pulling on the reins and hurting their mouth. That's no bloody good, is it? Obviously. And people say to me, well, what do you mean? Well, put a bit on the back of your arm and pull it. See how much it hurts? Sure it do. Of course it hurts. And they say it's pressure and release, but it's not really, it's pain and release. So, in my opinion. I know I go on about that, but the point is there's got to be another way. But you get societies and organisations and everything like that are completely blind to it. They will not open their eyes and have a look and say, yeah, maybe there's something in there. Let's investigate it, let's have a look, let's see what we can do. Never hear of anybody. I mean, we're not short of customers, we've got plenty of them, but it just seems a shame, really, that people get entrenched in what they believe. It's like, would I go barefoot? Yes, I would. The sooner the better. But I don't think, well, I haven't been able to do horse, you know, in the period we do them, you know, we're training them, normally 6 weeks. You can't do that because it seems to me, and this wouldn't be true with every horse, definitely not true with every horse, but it seems to me you would have, come on baby, some that could, you know, I don't think you could do it in 6 weeks. And so therefore you'd have to have them hardened off first. Now, Ree's got a little pony, Ree who works with me, he's got a little pony, and that pony, it's been off for a while with this covert and everything like that, but that has done over 70 miles in a week barefoot, and you know, 100% in all respects. Well, you know, if you could get by without shoeing them, you would. One, it's an expense. Two, is the time it takes. You've got to wait for the farrier to come, etc, etc. But I don't believe that you could do barefoot in 6 weeks. You know, the miles you've got to do to get the miles on the clock and on the public highway, you've got to do it. You know, you've got to, some way or the other. You can't do both, you know, they take time to harden their feet. So, and I often think to myself, it would be lovely if I had, you know, I would have a walker, horse walker, with a paved, you know, an ordinary tarmac running around it, and let them walk on that and build it up over a period of time. And then obviously have the rubber mats to pull down over it if you want to walk one on a soft, you know, like soft going. But yeah, I often think that would be quite a nice idea, because you could set it off at 10 minutes, couldn't you? Next day you could do 20 minutes. And you also need an experienced person, which I wouldn't be, to look at their feet and judge, you know, like your vet would know. So yeah, they're holding up very well, they're looking good. And he's not in any discomfort. But I mean, to a certain extent you can do that yourself, can't you, by just pushing it with your thumb, you know, and seeing, you know, you haven't got to tap it with a hammer, just push it with your thumb, see if there's any soreness there. But, you know, definitely they harden up, there's no question about it. Ree's pony is the proof of that. And if you go down, like I was in America a lot, teaching, and then lots and lots of horses are driven there barefoot. But of course there, they don't drive on the public highway so much, because they're not, well, some of them do, but they don't have to, do they? If you think about it, there's no gain, because there's so much open spaces, so many trails. I mean, they have one place I've been to, or several places I've been to, are gated communities. And what they're for is they're there for horse people. So you go through the electronic gates and you'll have, I don't know, one place I know there's 20, 30 small holdings in there, we'd call them small holdings, with, you know, with stables and, you know, riding areas. And then right the way around the outside of the whole thing, on the outside of everybody's property, forming a horseshoe shape or a circle or a figure of 8 or whatever, will be a track, you know, to ride round. And down in Florida, it's a lot of sand. I was up in Pennsylvania. There was a load of horses. There was a couple of horses there actually. I don't want to say this and be wrong, but I believe trot babe. I believe it's true to say that there was taxis working in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I was just outside there. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, there was taxis working, and they were perfectly come on babe. Oh no, steady babe, steady. You're going to slow up now, darling. Steady. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Come over there, that's it. Stand still, baby. So there was, when I was down in there in, come on, bud. They had taxis going around Gettysburg, you know, it's where the Gettysburg Address, very historical place from the Civil War. And, come on, babe. Steady now, darling. Steady. There's a good baby. Steady. Good baby. Whoa, stand still. So, yeah, they had a lot of, like, I'm sure they did. I don't want to say, it might not have been because I went to several places out there, but they had taxis like landlords giving people rides around this historic town. And I'm sure there was some there, several, that were barefoot. And I spoke to, wherever it was anyway, I spoke to a fella. He said, yeah, he said they, you know, they do a morning and, you know, the next day off, then they do 3/4 of the day, next day off. Well, that's the way he done heat, you know, got them used to it. And the funny thing there, wherever the town was, I can't remember now, it wasn't New York or anything like that, but wherever the town was, the really interesting thing is, and this was really interesting to me, was the different road surfaces. In one town, I mean, you couldn't believe it. There'd be tarmac, there was concrete, there was gravel tracks as well, that were actual roads, just on the edge of town. So they had a real good, you know, cross-section to do. So yeah, I would go barefoot, I would go bitless as well. And we're going to do a film in a minute when we, you know, these films we make, it's because people subscribe to the channel and comment and say, tell us more about that. You know, the comments and the emails we get and all that sort of stuff, saying to us, oh, could you show us that? Could you do that? Is it possible to do that? That's what these films are about to a certain extent. These people kept on about, why do you have blinkers? So, okay, I'll show you. You know, now if we can bring them down the middle of a town with a rubber bit like that and drop the reins down there like that, then, you know, what is there to say? I mean, all she's doing lovely, isn't it? You know, it's just happy. Up, baby, come on. So I've come over into this lane, and now what I'm going to do is go round this corner. Whoa, my baby. Ah, my little sugar plum. Stand still. And like he's happy, his head's up, his tail's off his quarters, his ears are up, he's looking around, taking in all the information, and that's beautiful. Exactly what we want, you know. What they entitled to be, these horses. They're safe, confident and happy. Come up, babe. Safe, confident and happy. What shouldn't they be? Exactly what they should be. You know, poor little things. They want to be, you know, just happy doing what they're doing. But as I say, getting back to shoeing, I would never shoe any. Why would I? You know, it's just a lot of hard work and time consuming. Tremendous amount of time. If you lose a shoe, you know, for whatever reason, I mean, a lot of our cases they're worn out. But if you lose a shoe, then come up, babe. Come up, my darling. There's a baby. Come round here. Come round. Just crossing over here to go round. Come back up on this main road again. Come on, my darling. That's it. Thank you. Oh, there's a little baby, isn't she? Yes, you are. I like this little. I like fell ponies anyway. I like all horses really. I like fell ponies, but Bree and I were talking this morning and we've just had, come on, trot, babe, come on, good boy, that's it, come on, you can walk in a minute, just walk up here, look, you can walk, I want you to walk now, come round, good baby. And we were just talking this morning about, we've had a loading over this year, past year, maybe, I don't know, 12, maybe more, and how they're varying so much. When I was younger, a lot younger, when I was a kid, they would all look the same, fell ponies. But it seems now, which is, I don't know if it's a shame or not, but you know, it seems now that you get them lighter made, taller, lots of different things about them, do you know what I mean? They're just different. Whereas they was all much of a muchness, all built the same, you know, very much the same. I can remember that with Welsh cobs when I was a child, going with people that would be buying a lot of horses, not one or two, you know. Go on. People that would bring them back and train them. Not that I ever worked with them people, but that's what they'd done. Go on, up, and they would go to the Welsh cob sales, and one man would be known, well, not one, but maybe one or two, 3 or 4, I don't know, but he'd be known for 16-hand, you know, horses, and someone else would be known for a lighter one, and someone else would be known for short, you know, thick and stocky, you know, different ones. So it's not a new thing really, but it never seemed to affect the fell or Dow's ponies in the same way. Well, obviously as time goes on, it has affected and made things different, hasn't it, obviously. Come up, my baby. We just wait here for a minute, let this traffic that we've held up go. Oh, my baby, good boy. And that's quite a nice thing to see if you look down at that, what he's just stowed there. Come back, baby, come back, come back. You can see there, that's nice. Now, so what we're talking about, well, it's separate. You know, you've got breaks down into pieces that roll and stay whole. So that tells you your horse is happy, quite seriously. He's not loose or he's a bit uptight. He's perfectly happy just doing his job, what we're asking him to do. So yeah, I would never put a metal bit in a horse's mouth personally. I've never had to. When I was a little nipper and I broke my first horse, about my first pony, I'd done it on my own. I'd be about 8-year-old, I suppose, something like that. And I was very fortunate to be allowed to, well, not allowed, a man give me a pony, you know, there was a little colt. And I messed about with him from 6 months old, you know. And I broke him and put him in the harness and drove him. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But, and then I done a pair. So I didn't know what I was doing, how to put the pair harness on, but I didn't have any pair harness, so I had, you know, 2 sets of single. And worked it out how I had to do it. And what I'd done, instead of having a coupling rein, which I didn't know about at that time, and no one else did much, the people that I knew, they was all, you know, single drivers. Breweries and such like you could see, but I couldn't get to a brewery to have a look when I was a little kid. So what they used to do, the farmers used to do, was have a rein going down the outside of the horse and a piece of string, rope, and they put it on the inside of the horse to his partner's collar. So the horse is working with his collar. So that when you turned round, you turned him away, and as you turned him away, the other one would, because he's moving his neck over, you know, his shoulders over, then that would indicate for the other horse to follow him, you know. So that's what they had, and that's how I done it, and I drove them around up the roads like it. Of course, the difference is you didn't have the control you'd have with a coupling rein, where you could make it as long or short as you wanted to and adjust it. You could have tightened up the string and like that, you know, piece of cord to adjust it, but. And then an old coachman, he saw me do it, driving a thing, and he said to me, you know, I suppose he was quite pleased to see a little, and I'd be about 12 then, I suppose, doing it on his own. So he said to me, and he showed me, you know, a little bit, which was nice, you know. Because a lot, back that time, when I was a kid, men didn't share. I know you'd think, well, maybe they would, but they didn't. Like little ideas they'd found, little things that worked with horses, they kept them to themselves. And I always thought that was a shame, really. So, you know, if horse done a certain thing, walk, if horse done a certain thing, they would know how to get over it. Or, you know, a horse was lame in some way, or, you know, poultices, all the old remedies and like that, you know. A lot of men would have things they just learnt to do with horses over there, I suppose a bit like I have now, but in this day and age, you know, if you're not happy with the horse, you call the vet, you know. They don't always know what they're doing, you know, and the vet we got, funny enough, he's a lovely fella, because if you say to him, you call him out to see a horse because you're not happy with it, and I'll say, what do you think? He'll tell you straight out, I ain't got a clue, he said, but we'll get a blood test and we'll have a look. But it don't make sense to me, you know, which is lovely, isn't it? Rather than fill you up with a load of nonsense. Come on, walk on, walk. You know, to fill you up with a load of nonsense is no good, is it? And, come on, my baby. So, yeah, I would, when I was like a little, I remember I had 2 ponies by the time I was 12, and where I kept my ponies on a bit of ground, the man let me have a little bit of ground there, I kept my ponies, And I used to stay up there on this bit of ground when I was an ankle biter. And come on, my darling. And I used to go and all the horse muck I used to keep in heap, all the manure, you know, and then I'd let it rot down, then I'd turn it once with a fork, you know, look back, it was a lot of hard work. I'd turn it, but it'd be like black treacle. And where my stables was, not more than a couple of miles away, they started building this massive, great estate of houses out of Waltham Abbey, called Ninefields Estate. Well, it was Ninefields, that's why they called it that. So there was a lot of acreage covered with properties, and it was clayey ground. And back them days, everybody grew some vegetables. Everybody had a bit of garden, often quite a big garden, enough to grow vegetables and stuff like that. It was just a dumb thing, you know, especially out in the countryside. And I'd go round and sell me horse muck. So I'd have 2 trolleys, you know, 4-wheelers, pump-up tyres on artillery wheels, and I'd have 1 pony I'd be driving, and I'd tie the other one on the back, and he'd follow on as happy as you like, talking away to you all the time. You know, he'd follow you as, you know, really happily follow you up the road. And I had bushel baskets, and I used to, can't remember now what I charged. I think they was a shilling each, and I'd done 3 for half a crown, you know, 3 for 2 and 6 in old money, you know. But I used to think I was a millionaire when you know, I'd done work all Saturday afternoon was a good time, and Sunday morning, 12 o'clock, back in the day, 12 o'clock, everything went dead. 12 o'clock, you know, by 2 o'clock anyway, there was nothing happening anywhere in the town. Everybody, you know, men would go down and have a pint Sunday lunchtime, come back and have their tea, you know, their dinner, I mean, their lunch, like Sunday lunch, and you wouldn't have no one doing anything. The place would be absolutely stone ball quiet. They couldn't sell anything, there was no one in their garden, you couldn't do anything like that. And then in the winter time I used to do logs as well, a few logs and kindling, and it, you know, paid for my horses and kept body and soul together. It was a good time really. Walk up, good boy.